Greetings, redheads. Thank you for joining me in another episode of your favorite show, the one, the only Red's View. Of course, I am your gracious host, J Red, coming to you live and direct. And I'm ready to get this thing started. Before I begin, make sure you do me a favor. Subscribe to youtube.com/Red's View. Also, make sure that you hit that like button. Hit that like button for me, ladies and gentlemen, or the dislike button. We want to get some engagement and we want this video to spread. So it really helps out the algorithm if you hit the like button, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, wherever. Hit that like button for me. For those who are watching now and for those who are watching in the future, hit that like button and make sure again that you subscribe to youtube.com/RedsView. Like we always do at this time, every Tuesday, we back at it. And I'm a little early today. But man, we got so much to cover, so much to talk about. Before I begin the show, I have to give this opener. RIP to Carl Weathers, man. RIP to that strong black brother, Carl Weathers, one of the big influential black actors in Hollywood. He's most popular. What am I? I'm twisting my words up. Huh? He's most popular for playing Apollo Creed. He is most popular for playing Apollo Creed in the Rocky series. And then, if any of you have watched Michael B. Jordan's trilogy of Creed, that's where it comes from. Apollo Creed, legendary character. Um, it was so legendary to when he actually got killed in Rocky. Was it four? Yeah, when he got killed in Rocky 4, it really felt real. It really felt real. So he died a few days ago. And man, it just sent the internet by storm. So RIP to him, man. He's real inspiring. If anybody hasn't seen Apollo Creed in Rocky, you need to make sure that you go see it, especially in Rocky 3 when he was gearing up Rocky to go fight Mr. T's character. Man, the my favorite scene is when he was training with Rocky, and Rocky was like, "Man, I forgot what he said about time." He was like, "There is no tomorrow." Yeah, it was that tomorrow thing. He was like, "Man, maybe we can train." Rocky was gassed out, but he was like, "Man, there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow," and that's motivation for everybody, man. So RIP to that brother. RIP to Carl Weathers. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into what we're going to talk about. Now, we're going to talk about the Grammys. All right, this is the first thing we're going to say first, because I've been seeing a lot of back and forth, a lot of talk, a lot of chit chatter. This happens every year at the Grammys, ladies and gentlemen. And I get so tired of it. I just need to know if we're going to pick a side, black people, hip hop, black people, hip hop, particularly hip hop, the hip hop community. I want to know, are we going to pick a side? Are black people against the Grammys or not? We need to pick a side. Every year it's the same thing. When February rolls around, the Grammys happens. Um, your favorite artists get nominated for Grammys, and then if they win, we celebrate them. But if they lose and somebody else beats them, then it's all fuck the Grammys. Let's boycott the Grammys. They don't care about black culture, black culture, black culture. All right. So I'm saying we need to pick a side, and that's the big topic that we're going to talk about tonight, in addition to other things. But speaking of the Grammys, Killer Mike was not arrested, but he was detained. He was detained at the Grammys. Now, for those who've been hiding under a rock, Killer Mike won 3 Grammys back to back. He did a full sweep of everything that he was in the category for. I know it was best rap album. I'm not sure what the other was. I think it was like best rap collaboration and maybe best rap song, something like that. But Killer Mike, man, he was celebratory of it. He was celebrating and everything like that. And then he ended up getting what appeared to be arrested. It appeared that Killer Mike was getting arrested, and everybody was like, "What's going on? What's going on? Why is he being arrested?" So he wasn't arrested, but he was detained. Now, I was waiting to get some research done and see exactly what happened. So he released a statement today, and it appears like something happened with security or something like that. So let's go ahead and look at what happened. So let me see what his statement says. Killer Mike blames confusion and overzealous security guard for Grammy arrest, but I thought he was just detained. All right, so this is what he said right here. He says, and I'm sharing my screen with you. He says, I greatly appreciate the concern and support, but I am better than okay. As you can imagine, there was a lot going on. There was some confusion around which door my team and I should enter. We experienced an overzealous security guard, but my team and I have the utmost confidence that I will ultimately be cleared of all wrongdoings. All right. So good to see that he's okay. Good to see that Killer Mike is okay and that he wasn't arrested, because I was as shocked as everybody else. It's like I saw a few videos of him being up there looking like a pastor, sweating, like, oh yes, I won these awards. It's a sweep. It's a sweep. He was up there looking like he was on Sunday's Best. You know what I'm saying? He looked like he was preaching or something. So I was like, damn, did he get too lit? Did he get too lit? How did he get arrested? And a lot of people were wondering, because I saw the video of him walking out, and folks was like, "Oh, Mike, are you serious? Are you serious?" He was like, "Yep." So the video that I saw looks like he got into it with the security before the Grammys, and I guess they decided to take that opportunity to go at him. Now, some people were very suspicious on why he did get detained or get arrested, and some people feel like it has something to do with his non-support of the Democratic Party. He appeared on Bill Maher's show this past weekend, and Bill Maher tried his best to get him to endorse Joe Biden. As we know, Joe Biden is a Democrat. Um, I'm not sure what Killer Mike falls under, but he doesn't have support for the Democrats or the Republicans. He is for black policy, and whoever has the black policy, he'll have his vote behind them. So some people feel like since he didn't endorse Joe Biden over the weekend with Bill Maher, this is a retaliation, because from my understanding, it was just a little misdemeanor. It was a little misdemeanor. So some people are suspicious about as to why he got detained. Because I was looking at it like, okay, this man has won 3 awards back to back. Why did he just get arrested like that? You mean to tell me y'all wait? Is this little misdemeanor? You do it at the Grammys? This couldn't wait. So some people are, speculating that's exactly what happened. I'm not sure, but I'm just glad nonetheless that he's okay. He didn't have to go to jail. He was just detained. So shout out to him. Shout out to Killer Mike. But speaking of Killer Mike, let's talk about this, man. So when we talk about black people, right? First of all, I want to give a congratulations to Killer Mike for the awards that he did win. If you're watching this right now, make sure you hit the like button. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in on IG Live. I see you. Shout out to y'all. But we're going to get heavy tonight. We're talking about this Killer Mike thing. Killer Mike, Grammys, all that stuff. All right. So again, are black people against the Grammys or not? Now, the reason I'm asking that is because I saw Killer Mike, somebody who's radical, somebody who is for black people, and somebody I feel like who would actually be against the Grammys. Killer Mike won 3 Grammys, like I said, back to back for his remarkable album, Michael. Now, by default, I said it got the album of the year last year because it was a good body of work. I agree with that. However, when I saw Killer Mike going so hard to try to win these Grammys, like he was actually campaigning to win the Grammy. I think he just wanted album of the year, but he was real shocked, and that's why he got so excited. I was kind of critical of it, but then when I was talking to my homeboy, I was like, okay, I got to put myself in his shoes. He's excited about winning a Grammy. But when I saw it, I was just like, just last year and the year before, hip hop was complaining about the Grammys. Hip hop was complaining about the Grammys. So somebody like Killer Mike is so celebratory, celebrating these Grammy wins. You know what I'm saying? Is this for the white approval? Is it that important? Would he go this hard and celebrate so much if he won a BET award? Would he have this much celebration going on if he won 3 back-to-back awards at the Source Awards? You know what I'm saying? Like, would he have this much at the BET Hip Hop Awards? So my thing is, I want to congratulate. Let's get to the positive. Let's get to the positive first. So as a 48-year-old MC, I'm couldn't be more happy for him because during his Grammy acceptance speech, he was just saying, look, you're never too old. He represents that good quality hip hop that we are the hip hop purists and the fans, the hardcore fans of hip hop love. With all this BS that's out here, all the sexy reds, all the trap music, all this filtered TikTok, real quick, instant IG music that's out here, right? Killer Mike represents the foundation of hip hop. So I'm happy that he got that. He's right. It's never too late. You're never too old to do it all, right? So congratulations to him, because that inspires people like myself, other people who are 30 plus, and it's like, man, I can still go get out here and do good things with this music. Now you got to remember, he won these awards over everybody that's quote unquote more relevant than him, over everybody that sells more records than him. Killer Mike doesn't have one hit off of that album, not one hit, but he won these Grammys back to back over 21 Savage, over Future, over Drake, out of all the people who quote unquote are relevant in the culture. Killer Mike won over all of them. So that's a big testament. You know what I'm saying? Not just for OGs, but it can show you that real hip hop is alive and well in 2024. 2023, 2024, hip hop is here. The real hip hop that we be complaining about is here. Now, a lot of people like Kai Cenat, whatever his name is, right? He's this Twitcher, this YouTuber that's young. He's a part of the Generation Z. He had a whole little rant talking about Killer Mike. Who is Killer Mike? Killer Mike. So there's a disconnect between the old school and the new school. So, you know, he had something to say about it. But one thing that these Grammy Award wins did was make people go and listen to the Killer Mike album. So those are the positives. He's a radical brother also. He's conscious, and that's why I support him a lot too. You know what I'm saying? He's real radical for Black people. So it looks very good for somebody who is socially conscious, somebody who's quote unquote has what's the word I'm looking for? Pro-Black. How did I get that wrong? Somebody who's pro-Black. It looks good for somebody like Killer Mike, and the subject matter of everything that he talked about on that album. It's great that he won it. You know what I'm saying? So applause to that. However, let's talk about the negative, right? Are we still trying to seek validation from white people? Are we still trying to seek that validation from white people? Because that's what the Grammys boils down to at the end of the day. Now, I'm for the Grammys if everybody else is for the Grammys. I'm not against the Grammys. It's just we need to pick a side, because like I said, every year we always get into this spat of getting snubbed at the Grammys. That time Kendrick Lamar, I felt like he should have won Album of the Year with Good Kid, Mad City, but Macklemore won over him, right? And these are all opinion based, right? You get a group of people who are writers, who are in the industry, they sit and they vote. It's not the people's choice, right? But you get all this going on, and then you get Black folks complaining, and folks in the hip hop world complaining all the time. You always say, fuck the Grammys, fuck the Grammys. So my question is, if Killer Mike, and this is a direct question to Killer Mike, if you wouldn't have won any of those awards, would you boycott the Grammys? Would you say fuck the Grammys? Would you not want to participate in the Grammys anymore? You know what I'm saying? Let me ask the redheads out here. Y'all let me know in the comments. If Killer Mike didn't win a Grammy, any of those Grammys, would he have the same energy? Would he just be like, you know what? Shout out to everybody else. It's well-deserved. I'll be back again next year. Or would he boycott the Grammys? Because that's all what it boils down to. And it looks like, okay, how Killer Mike, like I said, had all that energy to be like, oh yeah, it's a sweep, it's a sweep. If he would have won 3 BET Awards, would he have the same energy? Would he have that same energy? So I think no. If you ask me, no. Which leads to me saying that we as a hip-hop community, we as Black people need our own Grammys. Now, when I say that, I'm not talking about, hey, we got the BET Awards. I'm fully aware that we have the BET Awards. Shout out to the BET Awards. However, that is white owned. That's white owned. That's Viacom. Originally, it was Black owned, but that's Viacom. And when I say our own Grammys, we don't have to just call it the Black Grammys or anything like that, right? It's a group of Black people. We have billionaires. We got Jay-Z out there. We got Dr. Dre. We got Beyonce, right? We got Kanye West with his crazy ass. We got not just them, but we have Black people in business who are millionaires of the culture. What's hard about us coming together to start our own Grammys? And we don't have to call it the Black Grammys or anything like that, and don't have to put a race behind it, but it's controlled by the culture, by us. What is the problem with that? You could put it together. Literally, I could start my own award show. Now, of course, it's not going to be nearly as a big of a budget, but all you got to do, guess what? Rent out a venue, come up with some nominees, and send out invitations for people to come. You could take donations or whatever. I could literally have I could have the Reds View Awards. Hell, I do the end of the year wrap-ups, you know what I'm saying? And I say who's the best artist of the year, who had the best album. Those are awards. So if I wanted to get classy and rent out a venue and tell people to come dressed up in black suits, black cocktail event. If I wanted to do that, I could do it. So if I could do it independently, how come Jay-Z is still showing up to the awards talking about Beyonce doesn't have album of the year? How come you got people like Drake and Travis Scott being upset about the outcome of the Grammys? Drake has millions of dollars to start his own. But why, as we as a people, and like I said, it could be for all genres of music. You could say, hey, we want a country category, we want a hip-hop category, we want an R&B category. We created all this shit anyway. So if it's for us, and it doesn't have to just be, okay, black people only, this is a black only event. No, it don't have to be that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that it should be a situation to where all people can come. It's just ran by us, something that we own. And you can still have your Grammys. You can still have your American Music Awards. You can still have your BET Awards. But we should come up with our own type of because the BET Awards, let's be real, y'all. BET Awards is super ratchet. I think that they didn't throw that shit to the wolves. It's just nothing but a big popularity contest. It's just a big agenda fueled contest, because that's what I see now. But if you want classy and all of that stuff like the Grammys, why not have your own? And I know we can do it. I know we can do it. So that's my question of the day. But the other question is, which side are we picking? Because I get tired every year seeing this. I don't know why we still watch the Grammys, because all it does is invoke a lot of hate, a lot of like somebody even said it brings out the devil in people and stuff like that. Like, why do we continue to still support it? Because you still do. Even Jay-Z, when he went on there, and I'm playing a little bit, he was talking about why he still shows up. You still got to show up. No, the hell you do not, black people. Preferably hip-hop, in particular hip-hop. Now, of course, we've had the Source Awards, but how come the Source Awards is not still going on? It doesn't have to be BET Awards, BET Hip Hop Awards. How about we have more hip hop award shows? And if you win, because let's say for the sake of discussion, BET, Black Entertainment Television, how come you don't celebrate getting hip hop album of the year as much as a Grammy Award? Now, of course, I know the answer to that question because Grammy Awards has been here longer and it's wide approved. I get it. And I'm not shitting on the Grammys. I support the Grammys if everybody else does, because me as an artist myself, we know that Grammys have been around for years, for not centuries, but decades. So a Grammy Award holds more weight than a platinum album at times, a lot of times. If I say platinum recording artist J Red, a lot of people could go platinum. But if you say Grammy Award winning artist J Red, everybody don't win a Grammy. Nicki Minaj has no Grammys. Snoop Dogg has no Grammys. Hell, Nas just won a Grammy 4 years ago. 4 years ago, and he has been out for 30 years. So, with that being said, let me know in the comments what you think. If you are watching this right now, hit that like button. Hit that like button and drop a comment. Shout out to everybody who is joining in on Instagram too. Shout out for my Instagram love for everybody on Instagram. But anyway, yeah, so pick a side, because somebody as radical as Killer Mike, and I get it. I think that when you the Grammys includes everybody. You don't have black entertainment in front of that. You don't have white entertainment in front of that. You have everybody, and it's been around the longest, just like the Oscars and everything like that. So artists aspire to get that award. However, we can have the equivalent to that. I want black people to put more energy into our own award shows. You know what I'm saying? So we won't have to complain. And if you don't win, don't trip about it. If you're going to support it anyway, if you don't win that Grammy, don't trip about it. Just be like, it is what it is. Everybody has the right to feel upset, but these are opinions that people within the community of the Grammys, they vote on, right? It's not viewers' choice or people's choice. So why do we still, as black people, keep getting mad at it? And especially hip hop. With hip hop, right? They've never wanted to accept hip hop all the way. It's been BS from the start. So I don't know why the hell hip hop still supports the Grammys. I really don't know. I really don't know at all. Shout out to Danette Mitchell. What'd you say? You said having our own black owned and controlled Grammys. Do you think we will still complain or argue over the winners if it's not us and it's all black? Now, granted, we still everybody's gonna argue, everybody's gonna debate because it's a matter of opinion. It's a matter of opinion at the end of the day. So yeah, you're gonna have people, hell, even in sports, you say the game is rigged, the Lakers should have won that, the Rockets should have won that. You're always gonna have discrepancies and people who disagree and everything like that. My whole thing is I'd rather debate amongst my people who care about the culture rather than people who don't care about the culture. We know for sure the Grammys do not care about that culture, our culture of hip hop, our culture of as black people. So I'd rather, like, your family members, you rather argue with them than to see anybody else argue with them or fight them. Yeah, we're gonna fight internally, but at least I know, hey man, we came out the same womb. You my brother, and I gotta still be in your life forever. You're gonna be in my life forever till one of us is gone. You know what I'm saying? But when we go out, nobody knows us. So how can you expect that same energy? So that's my thing. Yeah, we would still have discussions and debates about it. You always gonna do that, but have it be within us, our culture, because like I said, we know our culture more than they do. So like I'm saying, y'all let me know what y'all want to do. Black folks, do you want to pick a side? Because I don't want to see this shit next year. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Speaking of that, let's talk about Jay-Z. Now, Jay-Z appeared at the Grammy Award show and he called out the Grammys over Beyonce. Now, Jay-Z won the Dr. Dre Global Achievement Award, I want to say. Don't quote me on that. But I know Dr. Dre, that award came out last year, I think. So the recipients of that award, I guess they have global impact, whatever the case may be. But Dr. Dre Dr. Dre was there, but Jay-Z appeared at the Grammys and gave a speech that went viral. Everybody's talking about it. This is fair use, by the way. So we're going to listen to what Jay-Z said at the Grammys. Let's listen to this.
I'm just saying,
fair use.
We want y'all to get it right. We love y'all. We love y'all. We love y'all. We want y'all to get it right, at least get it close to right. And obviously it's subjective. Y'all don't got to clap at everything. Obviously it's
Keyword, he said it's subjective. It is subjective. That's what I've been talking about. It's subjective on who you think should win a Grammy, whatever the case may be, because if that is, they say that's the album of the year, did every person in the world say that it was? No. So it's subjective. But anyway, let's keep playing. This is fair use, by the way.
Obviously it's subjective because, it's music and it's opinion based. But, some things, I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won album of the year. So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work. Think about that. The most Grammys, never won album of the year. That doesn't work. Some of you gonna go home tonight and feel like you've been robbed. Some of you may get robbed. Some of you don't belong in the category.
Woo!
Yikes. No, that was it. No, when I get nervous, I tell the truth.
All right, so that's pretty much what Jay-Z had to say about that. So shout out to Jay-Z. All right, so a lot of people were applying to, yeah, Jay-Z kept it real, Jay-Z kept it real, all this other stuff, right? So my thing is, and then later on he said, we have to keep showing up. We have to keep showing up until y'all get it right. Why? Jay-Z is a billionaire. Why does Jay-Z have to keep showing up to the Grammys in order for them to get it right? What do they have to get right if they're not for the culture? And y'all always boycott. You don't ever hear, well, I don't know, I'm not in that realm, but you don't ever hear R&B. I meant the R&B word, but country, rock. You don't ever hear those different genres say we need to boycott, except hip hop. You always hear that. So why does hip hop still fuck with the Grammys? Why do they still need? Because to me, that's white validation at the end of the day. Now, of course, as an artist, we all aspire to have the validation because that's the whole reason you do it. If you did it only for you, you wouldn't release the music. You would just listen to it yourself. But when we go into these studios and we record, we seek validation from our peers and from everybody, and also to make money. You know what I'm saying? So I get why you would want a Grammy Award for the significance of it, what it means, but hip hop in general. Jay-Z just won this and then went on there and was just saying that Beyonce has all these Grammys, but it's never won album of the year. Does it really matter if that's the case? She has Grammys. There's some people that don't even have Grammys, period. But she won all these awards, but you got a bug in your ass about her not winning album of the year. Now, of course, we are competitive. I get it. But again, does it hold that much weight? Beyonce is still the biggest artist in the world. So does it really matter at the end of the day? But since we are talking about that, a lot of people were having discussions about, do you feel that Beyonce should have ever won album of the year? Do y'all feel like Beyonce should have ever won album of the year? Shout out to Andre Gray Mortgage. Shout out to you. Shout out to Miss Karate Lady on Instagram. I see you. I see you. But do you think that Beyonce ever? Now, the thing is, I always say this about Beyonce. I don't think that artists like her and Chris Brown have a not Billie Jean, but they don't have a Purple Rain. They don't have a Thriller. They don't have what we call a classic album. Classic songs for sure, but I don't know about classic albums. Now, I'm not a Beyonce fan. I'm a Beyonce supporter, and I like some of her work. I'm a Destiny Child fan, though. But a lot of people were asking. They were just like, do you think that Beyonce even deserves for album of the year over different artists? I'm not here to say that because I don't be paying attention to the Grammys anyway. However, her father, Matthew Knowles, had something to say about it, and it was quite interesting. This is fair use, by the way, from TMZ. Shout out to TMZ. They caught up with Matthew Knowles, and he blamed Beyonce's record label for the album of the year snub. Let's listen to what he has to say. Fair use, by the way, fair use.
And that's the question, is like, why are they singling her out in that category?
Well, again, when you have going back to Adele and Beyonce on the same record label, the record label can only support one of those artists.
Why do you think that the label, which has made a fortune off Beyonce, why would they choose Adele over your daughter?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. I mean, there's a financial reason. Maybe Adele sold more records worldwide. I don't know these answers, but these are some of the thought processes that they go through. Maybe you say, Beyonce has her success. Here's an opportunity to push Adele, so let's push her.
So this isn't so much the Grammys as it is the label, according to you.
He just said that. What the hell's wrong with y'all? That's what he's literally saying.
It's a combination of all, but it starts with the label. Again, guys, I've been 14 years in those rooms supporting the label. I know exactly how this works. We spend it's a 3-day process. We spend a whole day listening to a minute of a song and saying, that's pop. And then Papa listen and they say, oh, that's R&B. That's a big deal, the genre of the music. And again, there comes a point in the music industry is the whiting of America.
Okay, so you heard that. The whiting of America. All right, so that's straight from Beyonce Knowles' father, who is the reason for Beyonce, for Destiny's Child. And I think we need to give Black fathers a lot more credit. We need to give Joe Jackson a lot of credit. We need to give Matthew Knowles credit. The parents of these childhood stars that grew up and became a conglomerate, big global impact everywhere. Salute to Matthew Knowles. Just had to get that out there. Shout out to the Black fathers, because Black fathers be getting a bad rep in the media. Y'all know how that goes. But, one thing that people have to know is that your label or you submit the album of the year, the nominations to the Grammys for consideration. You have to submit it for consideration, right? So with that being said, if he's saying that the label is to blame for it, I didn't know that. That's some game to me. Like, if you're on the same label and they submit, like, you can't have two of the people on the same label Somebody has to win album of the year, somebody does not. I didn't know that, but for the people who complain about the Grammys, if you complain about the Grammys so much and the Grammys don't matter, then why are you still submitting to them? Because you have to submit to them. They have to be submitted. So I don't see why people be complaining about it. But I mean, I think that it is a racial thing. That's why I said, why don't we have our own? Now, I'm all for it. It's a competition. If the majority of the room says that somebody's album is better than the other, and that's who runs the award show, then so be it. It is what it is. Now, even if we do a viewer's choice, because that's what they do at BET. I don't know if they still do it, but how you can go online and vote who you think the artist of the year was and all this other stuff, right? Who the people say. It's still going to be biased at the end of the day, because if they say Drake was the artist of the year and I say, nah, well, I wasn't listening to Drake. I was listening to Nas. Everything is subjective. However, whoever runs the narrative, whoever runs the company controls the narrative, and it could be a race thing. We're not going to let this black woman win album of the year, because you see how it affects Jay-Z. You can win all the Grammys in other categories, but it really gets a bug up your ass when you have not won album of the year. So they know that. If Jay-Z is complaining about it, they know it. So that's what they're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so let's move on and talk about some other people that were mad about the Grammys, as usual. Drake and Travis Scott. Now, Drake had something to say about the Grammys, and Drake has several Grammys, from my understanding. So let's look at what he said. He said, it says Drake slams the Grammys. This show doesn't dedicate SHIT. So let's look at what Drake said. Let's see. He says, so I cannot stand these ads, y'all. My goodness. All right, Drake, who is an antagonistic history with the Grammys, took to Instagram right before Sunday evening ceremony to make it clear he was not interested in keeping up with the winners. And then this is what he said in the stories. He said, all you incredible artists, remember this show isn't facts. It's just the opinion of a group of people whose names are kept secret. Literally, you can Google it. Congrats to anybody winning anything for hip hop. But this show doesn't dedicate shit in our world. Oh, really? Oh, really, Drake? Oh, really? It kills me when people who've won Grammys say this, because when you won your Grammy, you were all up in arms. Like, you loved it. You were very happy. You were celebrating and everything like that. But when you don't win a Grammy, then you throw a fit. You start pouting. That's why I'm saying, what side are we on? What side are we on? Drake has numerous Grammys. He has quite a few, from my understanding. So now that you don't win any Grammys and Killer Mike wins, now it's an issue. It don't mean shit, but it meant shit for you when you won your Grammys. Have it fair all across the board. We got to be fair all across the board. That's why I'm like, pick a side, black folks. Pick a side, hip hop, because a lot of these artists who say it ain't nothing, y'all won your Grammys. You got Jay-Z and Beyonce have won several Grammys. Jay-Z just won an award, and he up there talking about how unfair the Grammys are. Get it right, and keep showing up. Why do we need to show up? Travis Scott had something to say. I don't feel like looking what he had to say, but he was upset about it. But yeah, I just look at that. That's the pot calling the kettle black. Let Killer Mike shine. Let these other artists shine, whoever won. Because like I said, I don't want to have 1 foot in and 1 foot out of the Grammys. I'm down for whatever y'all want to do as a culture, but we're not about to keep doing. Well, we are. I can say we're not about to. Yeah, we are. We're gonna keep doing this. It's gonna be back to back to back complaints. Shout out to Preston. What you say? Jay-Z calls out Jazz Prince for boycotting the Grammys only to watch it on TV, then turns around and say he did the same thing. I thought that was whack. Exactly. He said, I still watched it. That's what kills me. And then his whole thing is, yeah, y'all need to get it right. Why do they need to get it right when you could do your own thing? We shouldn't be seeking this validation. It's so contradictory. Like, hip hop is so contradictory when it comes to that, man. It really blows me. And somebody of Jay-Z's caliber, while I liked what he said, it really fell to deaf ears for me at the end of the day. I didn't get riled up from it because he had Twitter talking, he had Instagram talk, social media going crazy over it. But I'm like, You're the same guy. You just went up there and said they didn't get it right one time. You boycotted because DMX wasn't nominated. You talked about Will Smith and them. Isn't it funny? He said that they boycotted the Grammys but watched it in the hotel. And he said, I don't know why they did that. Then he turned around and said, yeah, I boycotted it, but still watched it. What the hell? Come on, man. So y'all need to pick a side. At the end of the day, pick a damn side. Shout out to Danette Mitchell. You said, I don't watch the Grammys. We complain continuously. Yep, about being snubbed. I don't watch it at all. I watched it a little bit, but BT Awards is ratchet and stuff like that. But like I said, at least we know some black people over it, not owning it and controlling it, but we know they're over it, you know. So let's move on to something that I found very entertaining and sad at the same time over the weekend. Let's look at this, y'all. So your boy Moist Def. Did I say moist? I mean Most Def. Did Drake make Moist Def put on a skirt? Now, in case you've been hiding under a rock, let me show you Most Def. Yassine Bey. Yassine Bey. And I was just talking about him last week. Let me show you what he posted to his IG. You see that? You see that right there? What does that look like? This dude looks so moist in this. Bug breaking 101. He has this kilt. I bet they're gonna call it a kilt. It's a skirt. It's a man skirt with some large boots on, with his shiny jacket, track jacket. I don't know what the hell he looked like. He looked like a moist VR trooper or something. I don't know. Like a moist Power Ranger. I don't know. But you can wear what you want, right? You can wear what you want. But my whole thing is this. This is the same man. This is the same man that just said that Drake wasn't hip hop. This man, and a lot of people are calling him, you're saying gay, like Ghey. And some people call him Moist Def. Shout out to Jay Smith. But this is the same man that criticized Drake for not being hip hop, not making hip hop music, and then he retracted his statements. But the reason I got that title right there saying, did Drake make Moist Def put on a skirt? I'm asking because you mean it? I've never seen Most Def. Let me be respectful. I've never seen Most Def Yassine Bey in a skirt before. I've never seen it. If anybody can show it, let me know. But right after you call out Drake for not being hip hop, a week later or 2 weeks later, I think like 2 weeks later, you post on your Instagram and you turn off the comments of you looking very moist in a skirt, looking buck broken. What was that about? Did Drake make an Illuminati call? Did Drake make some calls to make you do that? Is this your way of apologizing to Drake? Because you retracted those statements on your live. You said that Drake was hip hop. Did you catch too much flack, brother? Are you trying to get another movie role? Because I remember when Moist Def used to be an actor. Did this mess up your pockets and a way to get right back in good to where, you know, you're able to get some bread, some paper cracking? Did Drake make a few phone calls and this was the result of it? Yeah, you got to put a skirt on and post it to your Instagram. Is this what it is? Did Drake make some phone calls? What y'all think? I don't know, but I do know that it's very ironic. It is very ironic that shortly after he called out Drake, this man puts on a skirt. So Yassine Bey, you got some explaining to do. Now, he did explain it. I forgot exactly what he said, but basically the BS thing, you know, I can wear what I want. I'm paraphrasing because I don't feel like looking for it. But I know something about, hey, this is a skirt. This is a kilt from wherever, from Scotland, and that. They always do that shit. And I can't stand it. That's buck breaking at the end of the day. And you know it is because you turned off the comments. If you really, really wanted to wear that and didn't give a shit what nobody said, why did you take off the comments? Why did you mute the comments? You ain't let nobody see nothing. So I got to ask that question. Did Drake make that Illuminati call? What y'all think? And those names are funny. Waka Flocka even called him out about this. He had something to say about it. You know, it was funny. It was real funny, people talking about it. But yeah, man, you can't go from calling Drake not hip hop to doing something that's way not hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Not from where you come. You're supposed to be the conscious. You know what I'm saying? You come from that background of rap, the real hardcore rap. You know what I'm saying? When I say hardcore, not like street rap, but you get what I'm saying, like the core rap. You know what I'm saying? And you put this out, like you put this skirt on. I found that very, very strange that happened. If you are watching this right now, y'all hit that like button for me. Hit that like button if you haven't already on Facebook. Let me see those likes. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. And if you're watching, make sure you hit like a fire emoji or something. Let me know that you in here. Shout out to everybody that's supporting the show. All right, now let's move on. Speaking of moist and buck breaking, let's talk about Tyrese. Tyrese Gibson, boy. Tyrese Gibson. Let's look at what happened with Tyrese. Tyrese wishes that he was born Latino. Now, Tyrese posted, I don't know exactly where he posted this. I saw it on a report on the Shade Room where somebody sent it to me. And let's look at this heading. It says Tyrese claims black community has lost its way, and sometimes he wishes he was born Latino. Now, this is what he said. Sometimes I wish I was born Latino. I mean, the Latin community is grounded in family, loyal entrepreneurs, businessmen, women literally represent the dream, the grind, the hustle, doing whatever it takes to stick together against all odds. If us as black culture was more grounded in these integral, magical nuances of us would be dominant. Let's see what else he said. He also complimented Muslims in the Middle East for valuing fathers and positioning men as the head of the household. I have no idea how we lost our way. We can't get anything done and accomplished as a fragmented culture, insecure, threatened by each other, competitive towards our own race, killing ourselves every single day, frivolously. The majority of us is black men, and the millions are locked up in prison. Of course, we are, and we are beyond beautiful, influential, and successful. But imagine if we all linked up like other communities have linked. So I'm listening to what Tyrese is saying. But for one, there's a few things wrong with this. For one, you say that you wish you were born another race during Black History Month. Out of all months to Sambo and coon around, you choose Black History Month to get away from being black, to say you wish you were born another race. And he's talking about entrepreneurship, businessmen, businesswomen, like-minded people, all of that in a bag of chips. So black people are not businessmen. Black people are not entrepreneurs. This is the biggest level. Well, I ain't gonna even say the biggest. This is one of the biggest levels of cooning and Sambo I've seen in a minute. And for somebody like Tyrese, right? The only reason I give him a benefit of the doubt is because something is going on up here. We see this man have mental breakdowns online, crying about child support. What more do you want from me? But out of everything and I think this happened on like the third day, February 3rd or something like that. 3 days in, we were 3 days in Black History Month, and this Sambo is going to say some shit like this. So what's ironic? Y'all know I was supposed to see Tyrese. Me and my fiance and her friend, we were supposed to go to a concert. Keith Sweat, Tyrese, and Pretty Ricky. They were supposed to be at the State Farm Arena actually on Thursday, but it got postponed until September. And what we were talking about, we was all out eating, and I was just like, man, like that was I don't even want to see Tyrese no more because of shit like that. I might boo him when he comes out. That left a bad taste in the black community's mouth. And Tyrese, I just want to give you the biggest. If I could give you the donkey of the day like Charlemagne the God, which I don't know, did Charlemagne give Tyrese the donkey of the day? I don't even know if it got on Charlemagne's radar, but give this man the biggest hee-haw. That, like, and I said, during Black History Month, he says he wishes he was born Latino. That's the biggest Sambo thing you could do, man. One of the biggest Sambo things that you can do. A disgrace to the race. Shout out to Maya. You got this notification, huh? I saw your comment earlier. I didn't get a chance to respond to it. But y'all let me know, does YouTube give you notifications for the videos? Does YouTube, are you signed up for the alerts? If you have not, make sure you ring that alert bell, hit that alert button. Hopefully they don't have me shadow banned or anything like that when I go live or when I post a video or anything like that. But yeah, but thumbs down. If I wish I had 80 thumbs so I could give him 80 thumbs down for that. Okay, so okay, shout out to you said it does give you notifications. All right, cool. But yeah, man, that was terrible. Thumbs down to Tyrese. I can't believe I want to say I can't believe he did that, but I can because I think something's going on in his head for sure. Something is going on in his head. Now let's talk about this. This was very, very interesting right here. I'm going to say this: Nikki. Megan the Stallion defeats Nicki Minaj with an assist from who? Nicki Minaj. Now, what are you talking about, J Red? What are you talking about? Well, Megan, her single Hiss that came out, was that last? No. The Friday, not this past Friday, the Friday before last. Megan Thee Stallion's Hiss actually landed at #1 on the Hot 100 charts. #1 on the Hot 100 charts. And man, I didn't see this coming. I knew that it was going to chart, but I didn't see this coming. It took me by storm when it hit #1. Now, why do you say with an assist from Nicki Minaj, J Red? Because Nicki is the reason that this went #1. And Megan is trolling Nicki right now. I saw a video of Megan celebrating, and Megan put a straw in the Hennessy because she got a Hennessy bottle and she's sipping on the Hennessy through a straw because Nicki had a line in her song where she talks about she's a Henny sipper with a straw, something like that. So Megan is trolling. She got this, and you'll see the thumbnail how I'm gonna make it. It has Megan going like this. Nan and the boo boo, you know what I'm saying? So this was an assist from Nicki Minaj because first off, let me say this: the song wasn't good. His wasn't a good song to me, and I think that it's trash. But some people don't think that it's trash. But be that as it may, it's not a #1 Hot 100 sounding song. But the fact that it debuted at #1 is because Nicki Minaj blew it up. This is Nicki Minaj's fault. And you want to know where Nicki Minaj's Bigfoot landed? I believe it was #23 or #27, which isn't bad, but you lost the battle. You already was looking bad when you kept bragging about how Bigfoot was surpassing Megan's Hiss on Apple Music and breaking Spotify records and all this other stuff, just for this shit to land at #1. And if Nicki wouldn't have said nothing, if Nicki just would have responded with the diss track and not gave 72 hours of press to Megan, going on Twitter, doing the Twitter fingers like her ex, if Nicki wouldn't have said all of that stuff, giving us those live videos and stuff, man, his wouldn't have been #1. I'm not saying his wouldn't have charted, but his only became #1 because Nicki propelled it. Because guess what? When you make somebody your enemy, you give them energy. If Megan was irrelevant, if Megan was Bigfoot, if she's beneath you, if she's not nearly as good of an artist as you are, why did you give her that much attention? Because what you did was you got the Barbs going on her stuff, listening to it because it was that. See, she said only one line, the Megan's Law thing. You could have just let that shit ride and put out Bigfoot later. But what you did was complain and talk about it and go at Megan, which gave her more press and more ammunition for her to have people come and listen and stream his. Because how #1 records work nowadays is not like how it used to. Back then, they would deliver to the radio stations or put them out for sale, and sometimes they would gradually debut at #1. You know what I'm saying? Like, or they would be starting at #60, they debut at #60, then shoot up at #1. Nowadays, if it gets enough attention, enough streams, it can make it go #1 like that without people even listening to it on the radio. Because, like I said, his was not a good song, but Nicki propelled it by giving it that much of attention. When you give your enemy that much of attention, you give them ammunition. And now Megan is laughing in your face because out of those 2 diss records, not only do people think your diss record was trash, Nicki, but she won because she debuted at #1. And you're the numbers woman. You're the one who brought up Megan's Grammys. You brought up how Pink Friday 2 is doing so good, and your tour is this and that, and Megan's an independent artist, and she got shot on her foot, and nobody cares about her. She lied on her mama. You lied on your mom. What he said? What she say? You lied on your mama. You lied on your mama. I forgot how she said it like that. You lied on your dead mama. Lied on your dead mama. Remember all that? If Nicki would have kept her mouth closed and dropped her Bigfoot, maybe this would have been a different situation. But Nicki has a large following. She has way more followers than Megan Thee Stallion. So you gave Megan that much clout because you're deranged and you couldn't get your mind together. So shout out to Megan. Shout out to Megan. She won this battle, and you haven't heard Nicki. You remember Nicki said she has some more diss records coming in, stuff like that. You haven't heard those because of the negative reaction she heard from Bigfoot. So Nicki, hell no. Take this L. Y'all gonna have to hold on to this L, Barbs. Y'all gave her even more promotion. Y'all gave her even more promotion when y'all were trying to invade and go on the grave site and what was it? Y'all went to the grave site and tried to vandalize her mama's grave. All of that was promotion for Megan Thee Stallion's single hits. That's all that it was. So yeah, this was an assist from Nicki Minaj. Salute to Megan for getting her another number one. This is her first solo number one record. Even though I didn't like the record at all, salute to her. She won the battle. But Barbs, like I said, hold on to this L. Hold on to this L because y'all gave it to Megan. And like I said, Nicki, if she wouldn't have said nothing, this wouldn't have happened. I guarantee you that. So with an assist from Nicki Minaj, Megan gets her first solo number one single. Solo with this just her on there. All right, so let's move on. I got a question. Y'all remember how I talked about Benzino and Eminem? Nobody wanted to see that beef last week, right? We talked about that, right? Then I said, damn, Benzino put out a dope diss record towards Eminem. Now, I do feel like somebody wrote that for him because I've never heard Benzino rap that well before. But all of a sudden, he got bars. So anyway, fast forward. I want to show y'all something because I have a question. Is the culture turning on Eminem now in 2024? I already felt like they were before, but is the culture going to cancel Eminem? I've been seeing this video surfacing. Fair use, by the way. But listen to this.
What tapes?
Black girls and white girls just don't mix because black girls are dumb and white girls are good chicks. Right?
Benzino and Maze announced they would be playing a tape of Eminem rapping racist lyrics.
I really don't like, we don't mix.
There was actually more records.
Yeah, where he's saying nigga and all that shit.
Because I don't like that nigga shit.
Calling black people monkeys and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
A lot of the stuff that was on that tape never got out.
They was already trying.
All right, so putting things into perspective, years ago, back when Eminem and Benzino was beefing, Benzino happened to get a copy of some racist like album that Eminem recorded with a group that he was in back in the day. And I'm sure a lot of y'all heard it before, but it got past the culture at that time. Eminem, there was not an uproar, but it was some negative press. But Eminem, I guess because it wasn't no social media back then, he was able to get past it. But this is resurfacing, going viral on Twitter and TikTok. And I've seen a lot of black folks saying, how did this happen? I don't fuck with Eminem no more. But anyway, this is what it's referring to. They called it the racist tape or the racist album or something like that. So let me keep playing it.
To sell the tapes way before I even think me and Eminem beat. We got to make this the same way that you guys have treated Mike Tyson.
It is an insult to the ancestors.
Kobe Bryant.
It is an insult to the race.
O.J. Simpson.
And it is an insult to every black person.
Eminem claimed he had made the tape out of anger, stupidity, and frustration after breaking up with an African-American girlfriend.
Never date a black girl because blacks only want your money. And that shit ain't funny.
Motherfucker, what? That's your consequences? Saying I'm sorry?
I don't care if he's redeemed himself now.
I had a black girlfriend
Who cheated on me.
who cheated on me, and I was mad.
And if that's who he is, then he has to be held accountable for that.
Them tapes was going to come out one way or the other, regardless if Benzino was in the picture or not.
Get straight to the point. Black girls are bitches.
Because that song is what you call individual racism. But one person has an oppressive mentality, feels they're better than another group of people, and has an oppressor's position.
All right. So, man, it's making its rounds, man. And you see this comment right here says, oh, wow. So this is why Eminem and Benzino beef started. I look at M different now. And I'm quite sure this is probably this looks like a younger girl, T. Latrice. So, and you look at this comment right here. It says, he was 16 years old. He had a black girlfriend that dumped him, blah, 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 blah. She says, man, what that got to do with being racist? No matter the age or if he apologized, it's in him. Because if it wasn't, he wouldn't even have did it. So, man, I've seen this on Facebook, and I've seen a lot of black folks going in talking about this. And we let this get a pass back then. Black folks let it get a pass, but like I said, he was on Interscope. That was a powerful record label at that time. He had 50 Cent. He had the Dr. Dre cosign. So it was a lot of factors that contributed to him being able to blow past this and being good with the black community. But times change. You remember back then, this whole thing with Cat Williams talking about, men wearing dresses. And within the last few years, we've been against that. However, when Martin was playing Big Mama's House, nobody talked about, oh, that's a black man in a dress. When Marlon and Shawn Wayans were playing in White Chicks, nobody was saying, oh, they're wearing dresses. That's emasculating the man. You know what I'm saying? And then when Martin was playing Shanae, all of that back in the 90s and early 2000s, it wouldn't look down upon. But now in 2024, if you got a show as a black man and you put on a dress, oh man, it's going to get bashed. It's going to get bashed. It's a different time. So I bring that up to say, is the culture turning on Eminem now? What does this mean? Because it's a lot of people who didn't know about this back then. See, because I'm quite sure Eminem and Interscope had this wiped away for a certain period of time, or it was out there, but it just hasn't resurfaced. Y'all know when stuff happens, stuff can resurface that people have forgot about, because this was like 20 years ago, but now it's being brought back to the forefront, and black people seem to be, I ain't gonna say outraged, but it's getting a lot of attention. And for the new listeners, they're looking at it like, Eminem said this back then? What? And how did we let this get a pass? So what does this mean? And for the white folks because I know white folks are going to be commenting, just because he was young and was mad at his black girlfriend, what if I did the same thing to you? If I got mad at my white girlfriend and said that all white people are trailer park trash and white people are this and that, you know what I'm saying? Like, how would I look? Wouldn't you be offended? Young doesn't mean anything. He was old enough to know that black people wasn't shit. He was old enough to say nigger. He was old enough to say that black women ain't shit. He was old enough to have a black girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Now, people make mistakes, no doubt, no doubt. But you being that enraged and you making a whole tape, a mixtape dedicated to shitting on black folks, come on, man. Come on. So, and I'm a fan of Eminem's music. I'm a fan of his work, but I can't let this slide. I can't let that slide. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad this did resurface because certain things are going to happen. See, people didn't know this wasn't the start of Benzino and Eminem's beef, but Benzino threw this out there during the beef. And it wasn't a big outrage. It was, I feel like if somebody else would have done this, it would have been different. But we already looked at Benzino as kind of a lame anyway. I'm just being honest. Not saying he is, but it's Benzino. And people look at him as being goofy. People look at him as, he ain't got no neck. It's always negative more than positive. But if you had somebody like, if Dr. Dre, somebody who put him on, put this out, you know what I'm saying? Or 50 Cent or somebody like that, then it would have been a different situation. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that shouldn't have got a pass back then, and it shouldn't get a pass now. It should definitely not get a pass now. What you say, ego is a hell of a drug. Absolutely. It is. Oh, okay. Yeah, you talking about PM, you talking about that Megan Thee Stallion track? Man, get out of here. You say his label buries it. Yep, for sure. And he had 50 for sure. But we shouldn't have as black folks, we shouldn't let him get a pass from that. Should not have let him get a pass for that. And it's resurfacing. Like I said, the Generation Z, everybody now is starting to look and be like, man, like shit, how we let this get a pass? So I'm asking, where do y'all think this will lead? Will Eminem get canceled from the culture? Now, of course, you can't. I don't believe in cancel culture, but what does this mean? Do you think that they're turning on Eminem now? Let me know in the comments, ladies and gentlemen, what you think. All right, the very last thing that I want to cover, and some of y'all Instagram is going past the hour, so it may cut off on y'all. But yeah, if you're watching live, it may cut off on you because I think Instagram said it's, you can only go live for an hour, but hopefully it don't. This is the last thing I want to cover though anyway. TikTok removes UMG artists from its platform. Now, what are you talking about? What's UMG? What's UMG? Universal Music Group. TikTok got into a spat with Universal Music Group, which is the likes of Drake, Nicki Minaj, Taylor Swift, not Beyonce, but a lot of your popular artists are in the Universal Music Group. That's one big conglomerate of a bunch of different labels, right? So TikTok couldn't reach an agreement with UMG artists. And if you've noticed, if you have TikTok, yeah, by Instagram. All right, so if you have TikTok, right, that means that let me see, save changes. All right, if you got TikTok, and you probably noticed this, if you had a Nicki Minaj song, a Drake song, or anybody like that, there's a chance that your video got muted. Go back and check your videos. I know mine got muted because I did a clip of talking about Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion, and I had Bigfoot playing, and they muted it. So if you're wondering why your video has been muted, think about who your artists are, whether you got Taylor Swift, I think is Future Universal. I don't know. It's a whole list of people. I forgot to bring it up, but that is the reason why on your TikTok it may be muted. Now, this is because Universal Music Group said that TikTok isn't paying enough. Now people were just like, that's the pot calling the kettle black because Universal doesn't pay their artists enough with stream. First of all, let me say this: the streams don't pay enough. It ain't the label this time, it's the streams. So they're looking at it like this: if we're not getting a good cut from TikTok, why have our stuff on there? And I'm not mad at the label, but it is going to take away from their artists, not in a big capacity, but if you want a Nicki Minaj song to go viral, if you want a Drake song to go viral, whatever the case may be, you won't be able to have it on TikTok. Now, you can still do it on other platforms and stuff, but a lot of artists be blowing up off of TikTok because of its algorithm and you being able to make challenges and dances and all this other stuff. So that's gonna hit as far as not money, but if you're talking about exposure to different people and stuff like that. So that's very interesting. But people had a way to feel about it. How I feel about it is, I mean, if you can't come to an agreement and they're not paying enough, forget it. It is what it is. So y'all go get a chance to go look into that deeply. And man, I thank you everybody for joining me tonight on tonight's discussion. And we was talking about the Grammys and stuff like that. How are y'all? Did y'all enjoy the show? Let me know in the comment section if you enjoyed the show. Remember, if you're watching on Facebook or anything like that, hit that like button for me. For those in the future who are going to be watching this, because it is being recorded, make sure you hit that like button for me to help out this algorithm. And also make sure you subscribe to youtube.com/ResView. Also, my EP Rewind is available right now on all streaming platforms. Rewind is an EP consisting of 5 tracks from yours truly that sample some of your favorite songs from the 90s. All right. Nothing but great reviews so far. Go check it out, man. Just type in J Red Rewind. If you have heard it, let me know what you think about it. What's your favorite song from it? It's a dope EP. It's making its rounds. Oh, I got tongue tied right there. But it's making its rounds and stuff. And I got some more music, more material coming your way. Special collaboration project on the way too. So y'all stay tuned for more with J Red. Thank you again, everybody, for joining me. I'm about to go shower up and get ready for tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? It's been a productive week so far. So I hope everybody else has a great week. Make sure that you again subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/RedsView, and I will holler at y'all next week. All right, J Red, RedsView, signing out.